Assalamu alaikum students and welcome to SM Public Academy Campus 5 online lectures. So how are all my shining stars doing today? My different colors of a rainbow, my beautiful children. I welcome all the grade 4 students to English literature class. And I am Miss Sabah Arif, your English teacher. So, before we begin the lesson, as I always ask you, are you all taking care of the necessary SOPs? And are you all washing your hands, sanitizing your hands, and using a face mask if you are going outside? Please, children, make sure that you take care of yourselves because you are really important to everybody around you. So, let's begin with our lesson today. Now, as you all know, it is our English literature class. So, I want you all to take out your wide range readers, Green Book 4. Okay? And the lesson that we are doing is on page number 28, Escape for 3. So, we have already done some parts of this lesson, and today we will be covering some more pages. So, let's see. Let's have a quick review. Now, what have we read so far? We read about three children. Remember, the names of the children were Jan, Robert, and Perry, right? And the oldest one was Robert, and it was then Jan and then Perry, okay? And there was some trouble in the city, and Mary had to take the children away from the city, okay? So, what happened here? Let's see. Mary, okay, let's read together. Mary hid the three children in a horse cart under piles of straw. So you remember what was Mary's plan? Mary planned to escape the children or to make them, run away from Paris. How? That she told them, you will have to lie down in a horse cart and I will put piles of straw on you. That is, I will cover you with piles of straw, that is dry grass, and I'll put some vegetable sacks beside you so that everybody feels that I am an old village woman who is taking back her vegetables to the farmhouse, okay? And she herself dressed up as an old farm woman, remember? So, what did she ask the children to do? To hide under the piles of straw. She asked the children to stay quiet and lay still so that they can escape safely. So, what did she ask the children to do? She asked them to be quiet and to lay down very still so that there is no movement, because if anybody sees that the straw is moving, then they will be suspicious, they will be doubtful that what is moving under the straw, and they might get caught, okay? And if they are caught, then they might be in danger. So what did Mary ask them to do? To lay still and quiet. On the way, Robert was thinking when would it be safe to come back to Paris and what would happen at City Gate. So, all three children were on the way having different thoughts. What was the oldest one thinking? Robert was the oldest child and he was thinking that will they ever be able to come back to their home in Paris? And also he was thinking that what is going to happen at the city gate, because the city gate has guards. Okay, like we have, checkposts and policemen when we are crossing from Karachi and we are going to any other city like Hyderabad or forward beyond that. We always have a toll plaza, we have policemen over there. So this is what exactly Robert was thinking, that, if the guard, he searches the vegetable cart and he finds us, what will happen over there? So he was upset. Jian was thinking about the poor children and where mom and dad were. So Jian was thinking all the way about the poor children she had seen before on the streets, and she never thought about them before, but today she thought that how those children used to, manage, how what they used to eat and how they used to live, and she was thinking about them. And then afterwards she started thinking that actually where mom and dad were, because mom and dad were not at home, remember? Mom and dad have not been at home, and Robert said that it's better they don't come home, because if they will come home then they might be in danger. So Jihan was wondering where the mom and dad were. And Perry, after thinking about how Mary had lost one tooth, finally slept. So Perry, he was actually a small child. So what happened? He was just thinking about Mary on the way, that how did she lose the teeth, whether she take it out or whether she, hide it somehow. And finally thinking about all of this, he fall asleep. Okay, he slept. They were stopped at the city gate by the guard, and so finally they reached the city gate and they were stopped by the guard over there. Mary replied the guard in a trembling voice of an old woman that she was going back to her son's farm. So what did Mary tell the guard? She talked in a very trembling, in a shaking voice, like an old woman. I told you, like, oh my boy, what is wrong? She talked like that, okay? And she told the guard that she was going back to her son's farm because it was, the day was over and she had to go back home. The guard came to check the cart. Okay, now the guard has come to check what is in the cart. And what do you think? Will the guard be able to find out the children hiding under the straw? Let's read. Let's see what's next. Okay, children. So let's start reading. What's in this cart? Asked the guard. What did the guard ask now? What is in the cart? Just a few vegetables I couldn't sell in Paris, replied Mary. So what did Mary say? Mary said that there are only a few vegetables that she wasn't able to sell and that are left, and she's taking back the leftovers back to her farm. Oh, well, soon we'll see if that's true, said the guard, and he reached up and pushed his hand among the straw. He touched Pear. Perry was asleep. He touched Robert. Robert didn't move. He touched a sack of vegetables and pulled it up a little so that he could see in the top. So what happened? The guard is now checking the card, and inserts his hand in the straw. He puts his hand in the straw, and what he touches first Perry. Perry was asleep, so Perry didn't move. Then he touched Robert, and Robert, actually he was awake, but he still laid very still. He didn't move at all. And then thirdly, when he touched the sack of vegetable, he just tried to peep into it, what is in there, and there were only vegetables. So he was satisfied. All right, he said, take your vegetables home, old lady. So he told the old lady that you can take back your vegetables, okay? You can take your vegetables back home, and he let Mary go. Okay, what is a sack, children? Hmm? Do people know what is a sack? He touched a sack of vegetables, underline sack. Sack is a large bag made of a strong material. Okay, you have seen the sacks, the brown colored sacks that you have, in which you have, vegetables coming in sometimes. Sometimes you have coal put in it. We have different things that we put in Pakistan in it. Okay, so it's a sack, S-A-C-K. Okay, let's move on. Mary pulled up the reins. So what did she do? She pulled up the reins. You know what are reins? I've told you, the strongest strings with which we pull a horse. And the horse trotted on again. What is trotted? Underline the word trotted. Trotted is move faster than walk. Okay, so the horse started moving at a faster speed. Robert and Jane were quite stiff with laying so still. Stiff means hard. So what happened? Because they had been laying still for such a long time now, Robert and Jane, that they were actually feeling stiff and still, they were like getting tired. They wanted to stretch themselves and push the straw from their faces, but they did not move. So they wanted to stretch, underline a stretch. They wanted to stretch, they wanted to, like open their arms and feel free, and they wanted to move that straw away from their faces because definitely straw is hard, so it was pricking on their faces, but they did not move. Mary would tell them when it was safe. Chug, chug, chug went the cart. The noise of the town was left behind, and there was only the sound of the horses' hoofs on the quiet country road. So what happened? That when they wanted to move, but they did not move because they were waiting for Mary's signal. They wanted Mary to tell them when it was safe to get out or come out of the straw, and they could only hear the voices because definitely their ears were open, so they could figure out that they were now away from the town, and the noises of the town were away, and they were actually at somewhere lonely on a quiet and on a very quiet road they were now, and the only voice was of the horses hooves are the metal particles that are under the horseshoe. Okay, Robert smiled to himself because the guard, so now Robert is smiling. Why is Robert smiling? Had touched him and thought he had been a sack of vegetables. He was longing to tell Gian about it. Longing means he had a strong feeling, like the way you people have sometimes if you have learned something new, or if you want to, like just tell something to your mommy or daddy. So you just keep on, waiting. You're longing for them to come back or to be free, and you just want to tell everything thing to them. But it's exactly same with Robert, that he wanted to tell Jian about it, that the guard touched me actually, and he thought I was a sack of vegetables, but actually it was me. He was just desperate to tell that. Jan wondered if the angry poor people had broken into the house in Paris. Now, Jan was actually worried that, what would have happened to their house, whether the angry people who were approaching near, when they escaped, by this time, have they entered our house? Had they broken everything in our house? Will our house be there when we go back sometime, or everything will be just, demolished, broken? How glad she felt to be away from the noise and the danger. And actually, at the same time, thinking about the house, she was happy about herself and her siblings as well, because now they were away from danger. They were safe. When they were home, they were feeling so uncomfortable. They were so frightened that, these people might come into the house and they might, hurt us, or, harm us in any way. But now she was safe, so she was feeling happy. Pierre turned over in his sleep, and the straw rustled in the cart. Now, what is rustled? Underline rustled, underline glad. Glad means happy. Rustled. Rustled is make a soft sound like that caused by the movement of dry leaves or paper. So actually, rustled is the sound of a dry grass or dry paper when it moves or it goes from one place to another. Then there's a sound caused by it, a very soft kind of a sound that is called rustled. So, because Pierre was simply sleeping, he doesn't know what happened. He doesn't know that the guard touched him and thought he was a vegetable sack. And he was so fast asleep that when he turned over, he doesn't even know, because he was sleeping, that they don't have to move. And he actually turned over and the straw moved. It rustled. It gave a sound of rustle. The journey seemed so long. When would it be safe to sit up and breathe freely? So the children were actually very tired now, and the journey had begun like so much time before, and now they were actually tired because they had to lay still, they couldn't move, and the straw was also piercing on their faces, and they were just waiting that when would it be safe, and when can they just come out of this straw, and just breathe freely and stretch themselves and relax themselves. Now this is exactly the same thing, children, with which happens with us as well. Although when we are sitting in the car seat, and car seat is so comfortable and nothing is pricking us like the straw on it, like nothing is moving on to us, we can move, we can stretch, we can still. But if you're going on a long journey, what do? We ask our, whoever is driving the car, that please stop. It has been such a long time. I want to stand. I want to stretch my legs. I'm feeling uncomfortable. So, although when we sit in a comfortable seat of a car, we feel tired. Think about these children who were just lying down in a horse cart, and the horse cart is definitely hard. It has a wooden base, and they were lying there, and especially they could not move. They had to lay still. They cannot change their position. They cannot stretch their hands. They cannot move their legs, and also they cannot breathe freely, because definitely they were covered with grass. So they had little air inside also, so they were having problem in breathing also. And also the grass was hard. It was pricking on their body. It was like pinching on their body, but they cannot do anything. So definitely it was a very difficult journey for the kids, as Mary had told them that you have to be very brave, okay? And they committed that we will be brave children, and they proved that they were brave children, because they did not move and they escaped finally from Paris, okay? So I hope the journey is clear to you people, that although there were people on the streets, although the guard stopped them, but the children did not make any mistake, and they proved themselves to be brave, okay? At last the cart stopped again, and Mary leaned over and brushed the straw away from the children's faces. So, leaned, what is leaned? Leaned is to move into a sloping position. That is when somebody bends over on you, no? So, what happened? Mary stopped the cart. She came back. She brushed the straw away from the children's faces, and like they were away from the danger. You are dear good children to lie so still, she whispered. So she told the children that they have behaved actually very nicely and they have been good and dear children. And it was so nice of them that they did not move. We are far from the city now, and the danger is over. But I think you would better stay flat as you are, just in case. So she told them that we are away from the danger, we are fine, we are at a safe place, but still, it's better if you people keep lying down and don't stand up because you never know. So what did she say? Just in case. Just in case means that something might happen, anybody can come out from anywhere and find them. So it's better if you just lay still and nobody sees you, okay? Robert and Jane smiled up at her in the darkness. It was nice to be able to breathe freely again. And because now she has moved the straw away from their faces, so now they can at least breathe freely, and they were smiling and they were happy. And they were looking at the dark streets and everything was dark out there. Because definitely, if you move from a city to a village, then a village is darker than a village. A city has lights definitely on the roads, in the houses, and everywhere. But in a village, usually only at the farmhouses or in the places where people live, the cottages, they only have a light or electricity. Otherwise it's all dark everywhere, so it was very dark. The sky was black like velvet. There were hundreds of stars shining like candles in the sky. So the sky, they looked up at the sky and they were happy to see the sky. It was like a black velvet. Velvet is, a fabric. It seemed to be like velvet. And there were hundreds of stars shining like the candles. So they were just happy to see the stars. These are the common things that we do. If we are out of a trouble, we relax ourselves, we enjoy the beauty of the nature. We look at the sky, we look at the things around. So this is what the children are doing now. Okay, is that clear, children? They were away from the Paris house, okay? Chok, chok, chok went the cart, and the children slept and woke through the silent night. And so, what happened? That finally, the children, because now they were relaxed, they were calmed down, they knew that they are now safe, so they finally slept. And then they woke up again and slept. And this because the journey was a long one, so they kept sleeping and waking up. Then at last, they saw the lights of the farmhouse. So finally, they saw the lights of the farmhouse. They heard voices and saw people and a swinging lantern. What is swinging? Swinging is moving back and forth or from side to side. Swinging is like moving from one place to another. Okay, hanging and swinging. Okay, lantern is a light. Okay, a light used in the olden days. So they heard somebody, they heard somebody standing there at the farmhouse and swinging the lantern. How? Why do you swing a lantern? You swing a lantern to show the direction, to tell the person that, okay, this is where you have to come. One of the men must be Mary's brother. So what did the children think? That the man who was, like moving the lantern must be Mary's brother, because they were going to Mary's brother's farmhouse, remember? But one was father and there was mother beside him. Oh, so finally the children have met their parents again. That is, the parents, the father and the mother have already reached Mary's brother's farmhouse, and they are waiting for the children there. They are waiting to receive the children there. And the man who was moving or swinging the lantern was father. And there was mother standing, and the children were overjoyed to see that. Okay. So we are going to read till here today, and we are going to continue reading from here next time. Okay. So let's see. Let's answer the following questions. So let's see how well you have listened to the lecture today. What did Mary tell the guard? Who can answer this? Do you people know the answer? What did Mary tell the guard? She told the guard that she was taking back the remaining vegetables back to her farmhouse. Okay, the vegetables she couldn't sell in Paris, she was taking them back to the farmhouse. Okay, what did the guard think when he touched Robert? What did he think? Did he think it was a boy in there? No. What did the guard think when he touched Robert? He thought that he was a sack of vegetables, okay? And actually, this is what Robert was longing to tell Jeanne. He was waiting desperately to tell Jeanne that the guard thought I was a sack of vegetables, okay? Why was Jeanne glad? Hmm. Why was she happy? She was happy because finally they had escaped from Paris and they were safe and they were away from the shouting and noisy and angry people. And they were actually now in the safe hands of Mary, who was taking them away from all the dangers and all the harmful things. So she was happy, she was glad to think about all of this. Okay, what did Mary tell the children when they were away from the city? Mary, she stopped the cart and she told the children that we are away from the danger, okay? She brushed the straw from their faces and she told them that we are safe now. But at the same time, she told them that it's better if you keep lying down, because in case if there is somebody coming up, then they will not see you from a distance, okay? So it's better if you keep just lying down. It's not necessary that you hide, but at least lie down so that you are not visible from distance, okay? And the last question, question number 5, who was waiting for the children at the farmhouse? Was it Mary's brother? No, it was mother and father who were waiting for the children at the farmhouse. Okay, and definitely now the children must be very happy. So I hope you have understood today's lecture. If there is anything that you people want to ask, or if there is anything that is not clear, please ask me in the Google comment box. I will definitely answer you. And I'm very happy whenever you ask me a question, because definitely it shows that you are working. It shows that you are taking interest, and asking questions is a good habit. So you can always ask me any question regarding the work whenever you don't understand anything, okay? So you have to take care of yourself and you have to stay home and stay safe and work hard, okay? Take care. Allah Hafiz.